two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo.
What's up, little biscuits and sun-dried tomatoes? It's your boy Eddie Collins.
Guys, this is Justin Brown.
And we are Medium Popcorn Niggas Spoiling Movies. And we are back with another edition of our movie news and movie reactions. This is right after the Super Bowl, so we have some thoughts on some recent trailers and things that have been popping off since we last recorded this mini episode. Starting off, Justin, I think you got some exciting TV news for you. You know, you were a big fan of the Spartacus show.
Yes, sir.
And it is being revived at Starz.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a sequel series. Which is interesting. Like, how does that make sense for the past?
I don't see how, because, you know, if you'll know history, Spartacus, him downstairs. So, and, you know, I will say that the ending of Spartacus was rather epic. And, you know, it was, first of all, I'm just going to say this, RIP to Andy Whitfield, the original actor who played fucking Spartacus. The gentleman, I cannot remember his name, the guy who took over for him, he did a decent job, but it's just the fact that Andy Whitfield was so fucking dynamic, and that when he passed of cancer, you know, after filming the first season, they actually did a prequel hoping that he'd you know, his cancer had gone into remission
and stuff, yeah.
And then he ended up passing away. The guy did a very serviceable job taking over as you know, the titular role, but you know, it's hard because Andy Whitfield's performance was so fucking good as a character, and as I imagine, as Yuvia would say, that he was a beautiful man. He was a beautiful man. Yes, indeed. 2 thumbs up from Yuvia. So, you know, I'm happy, but I'm also at the same point, I don't know how they're going to make that show work as a sequel, because it can't be Spartacus. It has to be somebody taking over and like the next uprising of gladiators.
The Hollywood Reporters were calling it a revival / sequel, and the creator Stephen DeKnight is saying that they're crafting something truly unique and unusual for the next chapter of this epic story. So, you know, I guess it's just a wait and see at this point. It may not be based around a Spartacus character. It might just be a continuation of that world that they built in ancient Rome.
And also Lucy Lawless on that show was fucking delicious. Oh.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Let me tell you one thing, man. If you wanted to get your rocks off, Spartacus, those sex scenes, that was a stroke session and a half.
Okay. All right. So another series that Justin really loves is Bosch. He's constantly told me to watch the show. It's getting an expansion of its universe. 2 more shows are going to be in development on Freevee, but under the Amazon umbrella.
Yeah.
Following Detective Jerry Edgar and a yet to be cast LAPD detective named Renee Ballard. I guess is a prominent character in the Michael Connelly books, which is Bosch is based off of.
Yeah, so Edgar was Bosch's his partner in the original series, and played by Omar from The Wire.
Oh, cool.
That actor. And I'm not sure, obviously, who the next other character is going to be. I'm a little bit iffy about Edgar because they really didn't explore his character all that much. So it will be kind of interesting to see what they do with that character, because they kind of he was like a guy who was having home life problems and yada yada yada, and he was like really dealing with he's Haitian, and like dealing with like the Haitian community in Los Angeles, and you know, certain things going on. So it should be interesting.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, right in my wheelhouse, baby. Come on, let's go.
I know. I saw that news and I was like, well, I'm going to put this on the list because I'm sure Justin will be excited. stuff. And because you keep telling me to watch Bosch, you keep singing its praises. So.
Great fucking show.
Yeah. Another show that's being developed also by Amazon, but also in conjunction with Sony Pictures Television, is a Spider-Man noir live action series.
Yeah.
That's going to be produced by Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who are the producers of Spider-Man Into the Universe. It's going to be interesting because it's live action. And so you don't get the voice characterization by Nicolas Cage, who also has been revealed to not be in Across the Spider-Verse, which is disappointing, but they have a lot of great actors stepping in for the sequel. But what are your thoughts on a live action Spider-Man noir? It could work, but it also could be really fucking weird. And
well, I mean, you are going to get the voiceover.
It's live action.
Yeah, but you'll still get the voiceover though.
Also, you're saying Nicolas Cage could do the voiceover, but not be the voice of the actual live action character?
No, but you'll still have like the noir feel that the voiceover. It goes like we're still gonna have that, so like that will still be cool and something different for a Spider-Man, especially a live action version of that. Yeah. Losing Nicolas Cage, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, a lot of people didn't realize that was a Nicolas Cage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're necessarily missing a lot, there. I just think that like that's just going to be an interesting story for them to do. And I'm just not sure how that's going to pan out. But I'm like, okay. I mean, it was cool in the fucking movies, so like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not like optimistic by any means. Like I don't care enough to like really be like cautiously optimistic or anything, but I'm just gonna wait and see. We'll see what they come up with, because some of the stuff may not even like come to fruition. Like they announce it, but they might start working on it, or maybe they can't cast the right person. They're just like, this isn't worth tarnishing what we got going on with Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
but it's clear that Sony is like looking to expand those characterizations more than just the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of animated stuff, we haven't talked about Justin Roiland's recent controversy and exodus from all things Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites. For those folks that don't know, he's the co-creator of Rick and Morty with Dan Harmon, and also has like a bunch of other shows, like I guess Koala Man, which I haven't seen, but that's supposed to be really popular. And he's the main voices of Rick and Morty. He's a voice of a lot of unique characters, but he has since been terminated from all the contracts and development deals he had, as he's facing 2 felony charges stemming from a 2020 domestic violence incident that occurred with a woman he was dating at the time. Apparently, a Hollywood Reporter reports that he has had a lot of issues with females, particularly journalists and writers on his staff. So this has been a long time coming. Apparently, the plus side for us Rick and Morty fans especially is that he's had no creative input, supposedly, the past like 5 years.
Okay. Well,
so he's just done the voice acting. Like a lot of the writers said they barely know who he is. Sometimes he wouldn't even show up in Zoom calls. He sometimes just goes to the office and he would play with toys, and that's it. So that's good to know that the show won't really miss a step in regards to like the creative aspect of it. And I'm sure they'll be able to find some voice actors that can mimic those voices as much as like, I love them, but I'm sure like you can find the right voice actor.
Yeah. They may have to hire 2 different guys to do those voices.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's going to be tough to find, but I'm sure there's so many talented voice actors that just haven't gotten their moment yet.
Yeah.
And, like they were able to replace what's her name from Big Mouth pretty quickly. So what was it? Jenny Slate? They were able to replace her very quickly. So, and you didn't really notice any difference between the voice acting of the character. I believe her name is Susie on the show. So, I just want to let people know, like, if you don't have time to read the trades and stuff like that, but you are a Rick and Morty fan, you maybe knew that this guy got fired, that it really shouldn't have a huge impact on the shows that you like, that Justin Roiland was involved in.
And also, it's just like, this dude, of all the people getting fired, like this dude, he needed to get the fuck up out of here, doing the shit that he was doing. So it's like, and especially listen, if something happens and, people do some wild shit once, that's something different. from somebody having a whole fucking,
History
catalog of
yeah.
fucking bullshit. Nah, you get him out of there. Get him out
Yeah,
of there.
privately texting like journalists and like women on Twitter and stuff saying like really nasty graphic shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's and that's like the one we know about, right? So you can only imagine how rampant that is, not just in the entertainment industry, but just in general.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of scumbags out there, unfortunately. So recent casting news, a friend of the podcast, Jermaine Fowler, has recently joined the cast and will star alongside Zac Efron and John Cena in Rickety Stenicki, which is going to be directed by Peter Farley, who of course won an Oscar for Green Book. In the film, three friends invent a character to use to get out of tricky predicaments, but they have to hire an actor to portray their fictional friend when their significant others become suspicious. Interesting idea. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. We'll see how it goes. But I'm glad to see that Jermaine's still out here working. He's got some movies on Hulu. He's got the movie called The Drop. He's got a few things out here cooking, which is great because, we talked about it. We were like, Jermaine, I'm sorry, but Coming to America was not the move.
Yeah.
It was not the move. But I'm glad to see that he's still out here hustling and doing the work,
Yeah.
Now, I should have said this after the Spartacus news, but I'm circling back to ancient Rome.
Okay.
It was recently announced at the beginning of this month, Ridley Scott is doing a Gladiator sequel that now has a pre-Thanksgiving 2024 release, starring recent Oscar nominee Paul Mescal, who's I believe he's an Irish actor. He's a solid dude, looks good, but at the same time, I'm like, sequel. So is he going to be Russell Crowe's son? But Russell Crowe's son killed by Joaquin Phoenix's army? Isn't that the whole thing? Why he gets revenge on everybody?
Yeah.
It killed his whole family. So who's this character?
Maybe he's just another random gladiator.
It says he's playing Lucius, the son of Lucilia, who's Connie Nielsen's character, who's now a grown man as the story takes place years after the first film ended. Oh, Lucius was the nephew of Commodus, who was Joaquin Phoenix's character. So he's not related to Maximus.
Okay.
Got it. Interesting. I wonder if so maybe he's like the good, like he's trying to redeem the family, maybe?
But if it's Gladiator 2, that means he's going to end up in the Lotus. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense though, right? If he was part of that royal family that fucked up and now they're like, you're the slaves now. That could be it. But at the end, like Yuvia asked in the chat, didn't the gladiators get free at the end? I'm not sure, but Ridley Scott, he's a wild dude. He's like damn near 80 and still out here making these big epic movies. So I'm gonna still keep watching his movies, even though they're very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Say what you will about House of Gucci and the crazy acting, but it is wildly entertaining. All those fake Italian accents, it's incredibly entertaining for just being about a designer family. But I guess we'll wait and see what happens with Lucius. Again, it's the only thing that doesn't make me excited is that I know it's going to be all black people, but maybe Demon Jesus popping up again as the only black person. Like, just like,
look, we got one.
That dude always pops up in like all white films and is like a mentor to the white people.
Yeah, he's a magical Negro.
That's what he does it in Shazam. He did it in that fight movie, No Holding Back or whatever fuck, or No Holds Barred. Whatever fuck that movie.
Don't Back Down.
Don't Back Down.
No, wait.
Yeah. He did it in
Don't
that.
Back Down.
He did it in this one Irish movie about this Irish family. Like he constantly is doing that. It's like, yo. And there's gonna be a magical Negro. It's gonna be Amistad.
Actually, you know what? This actually reminds me of it. I cannot remember the fucking name of this film, but there was this old movie where Billy Blanks, Billy Blanks, right?
Oh yeah, the Tybo dude.
Yeah. So he was in the movie where he was a janitor at a high school, and this kid was getting picked on, and then he starts teaching him martial arts. And then it's like a Don't Back Down type of movie. The movie is fucking wild. It's wild. It's fucking
we gotta
wild.
put it on the list. We gotta find out what that movie is.
You gotta find that movie. Billy Blanks, he's a fucking janitor, teaches the kid martial arts, and turns his kid to a fucking weapon. It's crazy. It's basically Karate Kid, but Billy Blanks is fucking Mr. Miyagi, but it's cuckoo fucking banana.
I mean, Billy Blake's just acting in general. The fact that they kept giving him opportunities. It sounds like the movie's called Showdown based on what's being popped up in the chat.
It could be Showdown. I just can't remember the name of it, but I remember watching it as a kid and just being like, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Yeah. Then there's another one where Billy Blanks is like a guy who like goes into like a gladiator type of tournament, and then just some guy trains him. He's like, but to get into the tournament, you have to prove yourself. So they put him in a steam room, and they try to like you see how long you can last. And he starts fucking working out inside the steam. They're like, oh, yeah, we need to get this nigga in the fight. Billy Blanks has crazy movies, and he looks crazy because his fucking flat top starts like right here. Christ. Oh, yo, we need some Billy Blanks movies.
I'm not sure why we went down this Billy Blanks.
I don't know.
Route,
no, because we talked about how he had basically those Never Back Down, those movies, and just Billy Blanks has jumped in my head in that movie, and that movie is fucking batshit crazy, bro. It's batshit crazy.
All right. Well, okay.
This is how my mind works, guys.
Yep. And folks, I mentioned the chat earlier. So if you sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/mediumpopcorn, you are invited to join us live when we're recording these episodes on Zoom. So be sure to go over there, check it out. We have a trial for our $2 tier, but also have $5, $10, $15 tiers on Patreon. It all goes to support the show and Justin and I's families. So please help us, because we need to make sure our families know that this is worth it.
And Cam put in the chat Balance of Power. I believe that's the movie Billy Blanks is fighting niggas, and that again, wild.
You guys are out of your minds. But you know who else is out of their minds, Justin?
Go on.
AMC.
Okay.
With their new ticketing strategy, which they're calling Sightline AMC. So essentially, they're doing seat selections based on the sightline of the movie screen, with value sightline seats being primarily in the front row of the auditorium and cheaper. So preferred sightline seats are typically in the middle of the auditorium and cost slightly more than standard seats. And then stub A-listers will have the opportunity to have preferred sightline premium waived because they have their membership to the loyalty program. So this is all like based on what you can afford when you go to the movie theater, making the experience already more complicated. Because I don't know about y'all in the chat and Justin, but whenever I did the assigned seating at a Regal or AMC, I always got the good seats and motherfuckers were always in my seat. So I had to then communicate with them, be like, you're in my seat based on my ticket. Some people try to act like, oh, I didn't know there's assignments, which is hard to do now because
what the fuck are you doing?
You have to push the button to pick your seats, or they'll be like, yeah, what you gonna do about it? And it's not like AMC and Regal have security. This is just a whole bunch of problems.
You got to go out and get a fucking teenager.
Yeah, they're gonna be
like, sir, yeah, this is this man's seat.
Don't make me hit you with my broom.
No, they're not gonna say that. It's like, oh, we'll have to call the authorities.
You must really want to see Titanic 3D re-release, don't you, sir?
Well, yeah, also that's also putting the staff in a very awkward situation, and also those being teenagers, and that's not fucking cool. And you know, and like you said, people are gonna buy a ticket up front and sit in the fucking back where they want, and they're gonna be hood as shit, and then they're gonna tell you, make me move.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, it's not just hood people, because like white women are very, very rude and like loud and distracting in movie theaters.
Listen, hood only means neighborhood. I don't care what fucking hood is hood, because hood could mean a nigga standing in front of a corner store. A hood could mean a fucking white person wearing a hood. So hood is hood.
I get it, man. There's a reason why I've been going to Alamo pretty consistently as the main source of like theater entertainment, because it's so organized and you don't have to worry about people being in your seats. Like literally every time I would go to the theater in Astoria where we lived, there would always be someone in my assigned seat, and there was never anyone to be accountable. And also, it's not fair to older people. Like if they have difficulty finding their seats and stuff, and then if people are just struggling and then they got to sit in the front row because that's the only seat they can afford, this is just not a good plan, and it's just going to make people more resentful going to the movie theater, which just hurts these theaters. And
all this is saying to me is like Regal's going to be getting my money in that AMC.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no way this is going to be successful based on the online uproar.
Yeah,
it's
terrible
crazy. But yeah, folks, let us know your thoughts on that. Leave us a voicemail at 347-508-0978. Let us know what you think about this terrible AMC strategy. We got some good Black news to help us wrap up Black History Month, Justin.
Go ahead.
At the Grammys, Viola Davis achieved EGOT status with her audiobook for her memoir, Finding Me. So she has joined the EGOT club. Rightfully so.
Damn sure she should have been there. She should be everywhere because she didn't get what she deserved this year. So might as well take that consolation prize. But it's a great prize to have.
Yeah, take that, Andrea Rosenberg. I feel bad. It's not her fault that she got nominated for an Oscar, but she also did a Hollywood Reporter interview recently that didn't do her any favors, in my opinion. But
I earned it. Basically.
Yeah. Raquel Welch dies at age 82. This is breaking news as of this recording. Not going to, fake the funk. Not super familiar with her filmography, but I do remember some of the photos she was in from some of the movies she did. So, do you remember any of her filmography, Justin?
Not really, Brennan, but you just had to make it creepy, didn't you?
I didn't make it creepy. I just. She was in her last movie was How to Be a Latin Lover, which I believe I remember her in that. She was in a Seinfeld episode. She had a storied career, though. I don't want to she was in 1 Million Years BC. I think that's the photos I've seen, or Fantastic Voyage. It's one of those two for the 1960s. That was like, that's a nice looking lady. But
she's a nice looking lady.
Rest in power, Raquel Welch.
Indeed.
On that. I Know What You Did Last Summer is getting a sequel similar to Scream series with their requel. And there are extensive talks with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. to return, which makes sense because they haven't had too much going on. Freddie Prinze Jr. just started to get back into acting, I think.
Yeah.
He did a Netflix movie. I think it's smart because it's a pretty simple story to keep building off of. I don't know who would be the killer, but I know if one of them go get got, it's gonna be Freddie Prinze Jr. Because if you can get Jennifer Love Hewitt back and she looks pretty decent still, yeah, they're gonna keep her on the poster.
Yeah, I mean, and also Freddie Prinze Jr.'s last movie, he wasn't it wasn't that amazing, and he's looking kind of not very Freddie Prinze Jr.
Well, he's older, he's older,
but, and like you put in the chat, he is big into jujitsu, and he's actually really good.
Okay.
He dedicated a lot of his time to to doing that.
He's going to show off those skills in this new movie, isn't it?
Possibly.
Which should allow him to be able to do with a hook can. I
mean, not necessarily. If a nigga's swinging a hook at you and you're fucking trying to take him to the ground, hook. Drag
True.
off.
I mean,
Easy.
we saw what he did to Mekhi Phifer. He took that nigga out real quick. But yeah, I'm open to it. It's going to be directed by Jennifer Caden Robinson with a script by Leah McKendrick. I'm not familiar with their work, but I'm sure it's going to be, your standard slasher. Hopefully it'll have some surprises in it. But when I saw that casting, when I saw the news, I was like, okay, that makes sense, especially given how popular Scream has gotten right now. But I do think Scream 6, the reason why there's a lot of hype and anticipation is because of Jenna Ortega's rocketing fame the past 6 months or so because of Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because, she was solid in X and no one talks about that. So it's it's not like
fucking solid in You, that other movie that we saw at the film festival. No, she's a solid actress. But Brandon, we talked about this. We talked about this a long time. We said that girl was going to be a fucking star.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We fucking called it.
Yeah, we did. Now I'm sure the creators of Scream are like, fuck, why we kill her?
Yeah, right.
They're like, God damn, let's do some reshoots. Speaking of stuff that needs to be reshot, The Flash apparently has a completely different ending, and it officially does reset the DCU, which we talked about this before. James Gunn talked about extensively The Flash being one of the greatest superhero movies ever and stuff. But they're doing that to get all the skeptics to try to see the movie.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to understand the continuity, which is the fucking thing with all these comic book movies now, you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. So we saw the trailer that debuted at Super Bowl Sunday. What were your thoughts, Justin?
Listen, man, anybody who watched this trailer and is excited, it's only because of fucking Batman. It's only because of Michael Keaton. That's the only reason anybody wants to watch this film.
They brought
this
back
is
that
a Batman
theme too.
film.
That was crazy.
What's that?
When they brought back the theme, I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
But then it's a lot of CGI.
Well, I mean,
I know, I get it. It's going to be CGI. Yeah, I mean, I was really excited about that. Tatiana didn't even know he was in it. She's like, is that Michael Keaton? I was like, yeah. So I'm imagining all the people that didn't know he's going to be in it who were like, is that fucking Michael Keaton? Like,
is that the original Batman outside of Adam West?
It's smart, but apparently there's going to be 3 Batman in this new one, because we saw the clip with Ben Affleck, and there's a secret returning Batman that's either going to be Christian Bale or George Clooney.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but it's going to be a cameo. They're not going to be the official new Batman, I believe.
It's not going to be 3 Batman on screen together.
Yeah. But it's
crazy.
I mean, you never know.
Hold on, because if 3 Batmen all got together, the character Batman, they fight. No, they fighting. Bro. They fighting. Maybe. Somebody's going to catch an ass whooping.
Maybe, bro. But yeah, I mean, we texted about the Flash trailer and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'd be excited if like not all the Ezra drama and like the prioritization of like this white actor over, you know, the Batgirl project and all that stuff like that. I am intrigued to see what they do with the story, especially with Supergirl and General Zod being back. I think having Michael Shannon as the main bad guy is interesting. But like we were texting, I'm like, well, if General Zod's the big bad, he should be able to wipe the floor with the Flash.
Yeah.
He's essentially Superman. So I mean, yeah, you have Supergirl as an ally, but I don't know if y'all gonna be able to take that dude out.
Yeah, see, basically the only person who can really fuck with him is Superman. You know, Batman can't help you against that motherfucker. Flash ain't got shit for him. So, like, what are you really gonna do? Also, I'm just gonna say this. I know, you know, people may not agree with me, but I think that Ezra Miller, first of all, he wasn't even worth all the trouble, because I don't think that he was an actor that was so fucking groundbreaking that we need to go through all of this shit for. I thought that he was meh as an actor. I thought he was very, you know, as the young kids say, mid as fucking as fucking Flash. So like this whole thing is unnecessary. I understand that they shot all this shit and it's just like, yeah,
supposedly it tested really well and stuff like that. Yeah.
But like at the same time, like if they're not resetting, when they reset everything, if they're not getting rid of him, then I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I know that they're not. But like if they're not getting rid of him, fuck them. And fuck James Gunn, because he walked into this and this is an opportunity for him to fucking, you know, clean slate. And everybody's gonna be like, yeah, well, he made the right fucking choice. If he doesn't do it, he's a fucking coward. There it is.
Okay.
Well, strong views. Strong
views by Justin Brown, everybody. I have some strong views on the White Man Can't Jump remake teaser that was released, starring Jack Harlow and Sinequa Walls. It looks terrible. They have a P.T. Anderson joke, and I'm like, did I write this? Like, no black people are gonna know who the fuck that is. I mean, they have a joke where the guy like is like, I don't know who the fuck that is, but I'm like, they cast Jack Harlow on this, and his star is fading quick. He didn't have another hit after First Class because that album was garbage. So I hope he's bringing more than what he's got on this podcast and then this trailer.
Bro, so, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. He has a fan base because of his music career. I mean, as short as it's gonna be, you know, being a one-hit wonder, it doesn't matter. You're gonna see him in fucking everything. They're gonna make sure that he continues the work. And if Kanye West has anything to say about it, he'll say because he's Jewish. No, but but honestly, he's as soon as somebody gets in, just the way that the business works now, it's just they're in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the movie is, because like the thing I'm having a problem with all these remakes is that they're actually, I feel like they're not getting a fair shot because they are remakes and reboots because the studio's forcing that. But like I said with House Party, it was actually kind of an original idea. They just put the House Party name on it, and I think it was actually a detriment to it. And it's like I'm curious why Man Can't Jump is the same way.
I still haven't seen House Party.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see it because they were like, I don't want to see a remake of House Party. But like if you watch it, it's actually its own thing, which I really appreciate it.
Okay.
But that's just me. We got some Disney/Marvel news. So apparently we're getting sequels, according to recently reinstated CEO Bob Iger, to Toy Story, Frozen, and Zootopia. Now I feel like I've heard about Zootopia 2 for a long time.
Yeah.
Frozen 3 is not too surprising, even though the second one was god awful and very long.
I never watched the first one.
The first one's solid, dude. The first one's pretty fucking good.
Listen, when the first one was out, I was in fucking Salt Lake City, Utah, and some Mormon girl tried to get me to go watch Frozen with her because they don't watch movies which are past fucking PG. And I was just like, I'm a grown ass man. I'm out here, and you want me to meet up with you, and because you can't drink and you can't fucking see swear words and shit like that, you think I'm gonna go watch Frozen? Nah, girl. I'm good. I don't want to fuck that bad.
I mean, that would have been a weird date. That absolutely would have been a weird ass date. But
well, I mean, I ended up hanging out with her, and it was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
It was very fucking weird.
And that's without Frozen. So
yeah, that's without Frozen. Yeah. She's just like, well, let's grab a bite to eat. She's like, but I already ate. So she sat there and watched me eat and just like talked to me. I was like, this is fucking nuts.
I just remember a time when I couldn't get away from that fucking Let It Go song. It was like, it was almost as bad as We Don't Talk About Bruno, which I actually like. We Don't Talk About Bruno, so I can handle that. But Let It Go, I remember we were in Florida taking a shuttle to Universal Studios, and this little girl in front of us kept singing Let It Go. And I was like, this little bitch don't realize that we're not even going to that theme park. Like, I was getting upset at this little girl. I was like, please shut up.
I am so glad that I started having children after that fucking song ran its course, because I could not do it. I could not do it.
Yeah, they try to replicate the same song kind of thing with the sequel, but that song never took off. So we'll see what they got for Frozen 3. Zootopia 2, I feel like there's a lot of stories still there. I like the first one. So
did I.
But I'm just like, all these sequels, man, I feel like that's taken away from the originality that Disney, especially what Pixar was doing. And I know Toy Story is the only Pixar property that they mentioned, but Toy Story 5, I mean, I thought, first of all, Toy Story 3 had a perfect ending. Toy Story 4 was a good epilogue. I don't know where you go after that. Unless it's about Buzz.
Did you watch Buzz Lightyear?
Nope.
Yeah. I started to watch it, but like, it was too intense for Jackson. He didn't want to do it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he thought it was scary.
Oh, okay. Was it scary, or just like
it's just too intense for a kid his age. There's just too much. It was, I guess, with Land on a Planet, and he's like, he could really get hurt, and I think it was just too much for him. It wasn't, and I guess also the animation makes it a little bit more intense.
Okay. Well, if you guys ever get around to it, let us know what you guys thought about Buzz Lightyear. I had no desire to see it. It was like, I just haven't been anything Disney lately. I've been very, like everyone keeps telling me like, dude, you love Star Wars, you're going to love Andor. And I haven't opened a Disney Plus app in weeks. I unless it's to watch The Simpsons, I never go to it. And so it's like, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been opening it so Jackson could watch the Spider-Man and
then Mickey Mouse. Does he still watch the Mickey Mouse play?
Not really. Axel's starting to watch it though.
Okay.
I didn't even know Bluey was on fucking Disney Plus. No, not look. Yuvia just put it down on me. Those Zootopia shorts on Disney Plus are actually really cute.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like the I Am Groot shorts. Those were cute too.
Oh yeah. Those were
when
good.
He kills like all those communities and shit.
Yeah.
Like it's really dark actually. They're like 3 minutes, but they're kind of fucked up. Speaking of Marvel stuff, read an interesting article. John Leguizamo said that he initially was cast as the MCU Vulture, but then they made him give up the role so Michael Keaton could get it back. So it was, and he also clarified on Instagram after this article came out on Variety that he thinks that he was used as a pawn, similar to, remember in Entourage when they convinced Vince to come out of like, you know, what, semi-retirement or whatever for like this movie, and then it turns out that they used him just to get another actor to take the role, but like a little bit less than they wanted. That's essentially what they did to John Leguizamo. It sounds like they used him as a pawn to get Michael Keaton, like to force him to do the role.
Yeah, it's which like, well, we got John Leguizamo, so like, you know, we don't need you.
Which sucks because I mean it's a great role. Michael Keaton killed that shit, and then like so much so that we were all like, "What's the Vulture like going to be? Why isn't he in No Way Home?" And then he was in that fucking Morbius cameo, and we're like, "Why?" But it sounds like John Leguizamo was offered the Scorpion teaser at the end of Homecoming, and he turned that down. Yeah, so they gave it to the actor from Better Call Saul who plays Nacho.
Yeah.
So I actually think that Scorpion's going to come back in the fourth one. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just disappointing to see John Leguizamo kind of getting dicked around like that. Like, you know, we rewatched The Menu last week, and I'm like, man, this guy is such an underrated actor. Like, he's been working for a long time.
Yeah, and
he's got a diverse filmography.
And he's a guy who I fucking despised in the movie The Pest. But then, like, he's come a long fucking way. Yeah. I mean, and actually pretty quickly. I mean, he went to The Pest, Super Mario Brothers, and things like that. But like, you know, if he has some solid films in there.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin Feige recently gave some updates on some Marvel properties. He said that the Blade movie is coming along. Cameras should be rolling in about 10 weeks or so in Atlanta. He also mentioned that they're starting work on the 18-episode Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, which I was excited about until I saw Ant-Man 3. And now I'm like, what direction is Marvel going in? Because they're trying to be really dark with King, but then everything's silly as fuck. And I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have ultra silly for children, but then try to like deal with dark themes and like death and shit. It's like, it's getting very confusing. So I'm really worried about the tone for the new Daredevil.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't need to be ultra violent, but Jesus, like
honestly, it does. It needs to keep that fucking Netflix energy. It needs that. I know it's not, but it needs that energy. If there's any fucking Marvel property that needs to kind of stick to the script, is Daredevil. That's why people loved it so much. Like we need the blood in there. We need him fucking getting fucked up. Like that's why that show, because there was an air of realism to that fucking show, which was just so fucking refreshing. You know, especially just superhero films and TV shows, you know, as a whole. And like once you take that away, you know, it's just gonna be fucking just the same old shit that you see everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they do take a swing and like they keep it violent, maybe not as ultra violent as the Netflix Daredevil, just because I don't know if they can do another prison Punisher breaking out of prison, stabbing at motherfuckers. Like that's one of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life. And it was I don't know if they'll be able to do something like that again. But,
listen, and it was fucking amazing.
It was amazing, but it was just like, holy fuck, man.
I still got a Woody off that man.
I mean, yeah, but it is tough to. It's really tough. It's going to be really tough to top the Netflix series because I'm just thinking about season 3 and like, you know, Matt Murracking's trapped in the jail by Kingpin and having to break his way out of it. That's one of the coolest scenes ever.
Yeah.
Like they did so many cool like stunt scenes. So we'll see. But, you know, I am worried because, you know, I'll do a bigger review on Ant-Man 3 for Patreon, but that screenwriter for Ant-Man 3 is doing the Kang Dynasty. And that makes me really, really worried because Ant-Man was really fucking silly. Not as silly as Love and Thunder, but it was almost there in parts. And that makes me a little nervous. But I do have hope for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know you just said fuck James Gunn, but I am very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They just released a new trailer, and I think it's going to be a really good, like, it's one of the few Marvel properties that feels like it's really going to wrap up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's because clearly a bunch of people are going to leave and stuff like that. And I'm already like, accepting that Drax is likely going to get got.
Well, no, not likely. He is.
Yeah,
I mean, Batista's just like, won't come back for the money because this is the perfect ending for him. It's like, bro, chill out. Come on, calm down. Let us watch the movie first, nigga.
Yeah, I think it's going to be actually, you know what? Because we do know a lot about the characters, and it seems like we're going to get a lot of backstory on Rocket. Like, it's obvious that those are probably the two, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Nebula possibly gets got again, or Gamora maybe. Like, I feel like we're going to get more in just those two.
I think it's going to be Drax, Rocket, and probably Gamora, because Nebula actually plays a bigger part in fucking Marvel Comics.
Yeah, and in the new movie, it seems like her and Star-Lord might have a thing. I don't know, we'll see, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think they have the one dude from Peacemaker who's going to be the High Evolutionary, who's like the creator of Rocket and stuff like that. It's got some interesting things going on.
Adam Warlock, that's huge.
I always forget about that dude. And that guy got jacked for that role too.
Yeah. Those fucking eyebrows.
Yeah.
I can't even fucking do it. This motherfucker like this.
But at the same time, I am very much like I hope that it stays true to the first two, the tone of the first two. And I hope that it does bring things full circle. Like, I'm just thinking now, like, if Drax dies, it'd be beautiful for you to see him reunited in whatever afterlife they have with his family that got killed by Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, things like that, because that's been like a through line for his whole story. And Dave Bautista was right when he was like, I should have been the one to kill Thanos. When you think about what's been driving my character since he first met him. Yeah. So hopefully they give him some type of closure there. But yeah, the new trailer was cool. There's another trailer that came out called Air that's directed by Ben Affleck, starring Matt Damon, about the white guys that did the Jordan deal with Michael Jordan and his parents. Parents played by Viola Davis and her real life husband, which is interesting. So yeah, what'd you think of that trailer?
Well, so I'm here for it because I don't know if you were with me. We saw the documentary about Jordans, right? Were you with me on that?
No. We didn't.
Okay,
we didn't review that. Maybe you talked about it on Patreon or something. Yeah.
So I saw the documentary about it. It's very interesting story, to the point where, like, Michael Jordan really wanted to sign. I think it was like Converse or fucking Reebok or was some of the other another brand at the time, because they were they were a larger company. Nike was nobody, and because they were only doing like running shoes at the time, so it was their first foray into kind of like basketball. And it's a very interesting story about how everything worked out, and I'd love to kind of see it on the big screen. It's like, we got fucking Matt Damon and fucking Ben Affleck. I'm interested to see how they're gonna do Jordan's likeness, or are they gonna just like,
we haven't seen what he looks like yet.
Yeah, or are they not gonna show us him? He's just gonna be a face or something like that, or like the back of his head, or because is very interesting, because Jordan is a property in his own right, and you can't just play Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I mean, that motherfucker, you couldn't play him in video games for the longest time.
Yeah, I just hope that he looks better than the way that they have the actor in the big George Foreman biopic looking, because he looks almost as bad as Mike Tyson did in that Hulu series.
Oh god!
And that trailer also tells us, the big George Foreman trailer tells us everything that's going to be in the movie.
Really?
It's like a 2.5 minute trailer, and it tells the whole story. Phil even ends with the joke about the George Foreman grills, which is towards the end of this time when he was like a commercial celebrity that people still like knew. You know what I mean? But going back to the Air trailer, I thought it was fine. I wasn't the biggest fan of the font, but I get it. It's like, homage to like the Air, Nike type form and shit. And I do like the chemistry that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have. It's just like I was watching, like it's all white people, and then they're sprinkling Chris Tucker and Marlon Wayans. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, oh no, is this gonna be like a white savior movie? It's like without us, Michael Jordan wouldn't be the guy he is. You know, without us believing in it.
I'd say without Michael Jordan, they wouldn't be the fucking company that they are. Michael Jordan created Nike. Exactly. That's why he owns so much. Like they can't like. Yeah.
So I just hope they're like honest about that. But the only thing is Ben Affleck looks old. But at the same time, like he's directing, he's writing, he's acting. So I mean, and he's married to J-Lo, so he's got a lot going on.
Yeah, let it go, baby. Let it go. There we go. By the way, full circle.
Ben Affleck being a meme again from the Grammys is like the funniest shit in the world. Like, because he just wants to be happy, and he's like, "I'm here supporting my wife. I love her to death. She needs to come to the Grammys. I'm just here, man." And like because he clearly doesn't like to dance or something. And oh yeah, and Yubi in the chat said he's sober, he's dealing with a lot of stuff, and the niggas just always had a camera on him, and they just be catching him. Like he can't even go outside and have a smoke without becoming a meme. Like Bro, it's so bad.
It's just the fact is like Ben Affleck, he's just like I've had some hard times, and then I finally got the woman that I wanted. That was with a long time ago. I got her back, and he's just like, "Fuck, I'm married again." Fuck. I'm married again. Fuck. He's just staring into the fucking void. He's fuck.
I mean, but it is Jennifer Lopez because I don't know if you saw Shotgun Wedding, but goddamn,
bro, it don't matter who the fuck it is. You get married, it's over, and he now realizes it's over for him. And in the fact that is Jennifer Lopez, he ain't gonna win.
Oh no.
He ain't gonna win.
Yeah, never.
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. We have one more
go. Your freedom is gone. Go
on. So we couldn't wrap up this movie news and trailer episode without talking about family. And what I mean is the nearly 4-minute Fast 10 trailer that was released just before the Super Bowl. Which the rumor I've heard around the studio is this is the only trailer, which makes sense because it's a lot. It's a lot. I've never seen a 4-minute trailer in like recent memory. This movie looks fucking nuts. This nigga was driving down a dam. Like
Brandon.
He pops out. It's just so crazy.
Toretto is hooked to 2 helicopters and makes them crash because his vehicle is so powerful. Like this movie is going to be one of the most ridiculous things. And it's just part 1. It's just part 1.
Yep. That's what a lot of people don't know, I think. Supposedly that's also hurt test screenings. A lot of people didn't know it's a part 1. So it ends on a cliffhanger, and a lot of people were upset about that. So I think they need to start advertising that there's going to be more after this.
Yeah.
But
bro,
yeah,
this is crazy. Fucking nuts. Because this says the beginning of the end. It's like the beginning of the end, right?
Or like the last road or some shit. Yeah. It's like so dramatic. So dramatic. I'm like,
also, let me just say this, and you could see it in the trailers. Vin Diesel's a terrible actor. And he's only gotten worse. He's only gotten worse.
It's weird. He has gotten worse. And then you got Jason Momoa looking batshit crazy. He's got like feathers in his head, and he's just like, the hardest part about having a big family is deciding which one you're gonna lose. It's like what? And then they fucking superimposed him into the previous movies. He's raised his son from Fast 5. When he was there in that scene when they pull out the safe, I was like, this is fucking wild,
bro. Which if you watch the previous movie, he wasn't there.
No,
he wasn't. There was a guy there, but it wasn't. It for sure wasn't him, because you literally see that guy, not him. Then also when he goes falling off into the water, he's just like, I'm just like, come on, stop it. But Jason Momoa in this film looks like he's the guy that you meet at Burning Man, who sells you some sort of weird hallucinogenic that you've never heard of.
You start tickling balls and shit. You like looking at like Aquafina and stuff a different way.
And then you wake up and then you wake up mid-stroke fucking him. Like that's the kind of weird shit. Like because it's like there's a different air to this. Yo, he looks nuts. He looks fucking nuts.
Word on the street is that he's essentially the Fast and Furious Joker. Like he's a crazy ass villain, which that means you need to bring everybody back. All your previous villains, enemies. You got Helen Mirren, you got John Cena. All these people are part of the family now. And I'm like, this is so fucking crazy.
So Brandon, like I said this to you, and I know I broke your brain when I said it because you're like, Rock has to be in this movie. He's gonna be in this movie. I think that they're just playing games with us. I was like, no, they're gonna kill him off screen.
I have it on good authority. They don't.
You don't think so?
No, I have it on good authority from people.
Okay, so he doesn't get killed off screen.
He's still alive in the universe.
Okay, so they say that, but they say that.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. But the thing is, I think it's weird that they're going with the Reyes character like as a revenge plot because the Dwayne is the one that shoots the dad in the head.
Yeah,
he's the one that kills him. Like ultimately at the end of Fast 5. So it's kind of like you kind of need to bring Hobbs back in order to have that closure if that's what's really driving Momoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you never know. I mean, like we said, there's 2 parts. So I don't know if these people that I've talked to have seen the second part, but I was like, oh no, like are they doing that off screen because of the beef? And they're like, no. Like Hobbs is still around because they're trying to do Hobbs and Shaw too. They're still trying to do that somehow, which is fucking nuts that they're making Shaw and Han hang out and drive together. I'm like, this nigga trying to kill you.
Well, no, it was all a setup. You remember?
No, the setup was to cover up Han escaping from Shaw. Shaw was really trying to kill him, but they posit that Kurt Russell fucking fabricated the whole scene where it made the illusion that Han died. It's so crazy, dude. Yeah, like they really did jump the shark last movie.
Yeah, they just Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, there is that cool stunt where Han is driving that motorcycle and he fucking like kind of goes on the side and then goes over a pipe. Like that was kind of dope.
I think that's Michelle Rodriguez, right?
Is that
on the bike? Yeah.
I thought that was him. Either way, that was a cool stunt.
Yeah, I mean,
simple stunt, but cool.
Yeah. I do like that they're giving her the real good fight scenes. Like she has that fight scene at the end with Charlize, and I'm like, give the woman the badass shit. Like let's do that. Because Ludacris fighting, I'm like, I don't buy that.
Yeah, because Vin Diesel is looking old and haggard. He looks terrible.
They said that's one of the reasons why Justin Lin quit is because Vin Diesel didn't do the work. He didn't work out to get ready physically for the movie, and he's just like, just shoot around me. Like it's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, because he looks like fucking he looks like who's the dude who played who's the dude who played the Thing in the Fantastic Four?
Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, he kind of looks like him a little bit right now, but out of shape. Like that's what he looks like. Oof. Like this is not Vin Diesel, but bro.
I mean, this definitely isn't. This isn't 2001 Vin Diesel.
Bro,
absolutely.
He should drop the Diesel and just call himself Vin Donuts.
Oh, Jesus. Well, all right, folks. Well, that's our latest edition of movie news and movie trailer reactions. We hope you all enjoyed these mini episodes. Please let us know. Tweet at us at Medium P Podcast and all social media platforms. Let us know what you think of these mini episodes and your thoughts on the movie news and trailers that we talked about. You can also follow me at American Collins on all social media platforms. Justin, if you want to support the show financially as well as follow you, what can they do, my brother?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials. Give me all your Vin Diesel hate. I love it. And show us some love at patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. There's so much on there. We're gonna have our bonus episodes. We have our backlogs. We have basically fucking so much shit is on Patreon. It's crazy. Like I forget more stuff that's on Patreon than we can even add onto it. But which should be the case anyhow. And also again, leave us a voicemail 347-508-0978.
Yes, indeedy. Feed the needy. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review if you've never done that on Apple Podcasts. Helps the show.
It
And
does.
again, patreon.com is where it's at, though. That's where you really get the full medium popcorn experience. Patreon.com/medium motherfucking popcorn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's actually /medium popcorn, not medium motherfucking popcorn. I don't want anyone tweeting at me saying the URL.
I want the medium fucking popcorn. That don't work. No, baby.
Yeah, join medium popcorn after dark.
Yes.
Patreon.com/medium popcorn.
Of the dog.
All right. Bye.